America, and welcome to Invent America, because America invents.
This episode of Invent America TV is brought to you by America's Inventor Lady and Home Talk USA. Home Talk is a proud member of the King's Broadcasting Network and has been bringing to you the best of America's home-based product innovation since 1998. This segment of Invent America TV is brought to you by the law offices of R.P. Baraska. RPB law offices have been bringing corporate-level legal expertise to the independent inventor community for more than 20 years. For all your inventing legal needs, trust rpblawoffices.com.
Welcome, America. This is the Invent America show right here on the King's Broadcasting Network. I want to welcome all of you to the very best of home improvement information and education as we talk to realistically inventors and entrepreneurs and manufacturers, distributors, lawyers, patent lawyers, anything that has to do with getting your product to market. And I'd like to welcome to the show my co-host, the Inventor Lady herself, Miss Rita Crompton. Miss Rita, what a great job. What a great job you did. Rita was our guest on the Home Talk USA show, and it kind of, set the stage for this great hour, So, Rita, what's going on?
Well, as I was saying earlier, every industry, every inventor trying to get into what industry, whatever it is, every one of them has got issues, setbacks, challenges, however you want to, tag it. And the more the inventor knows up front on what they're going to have to deal with, the better off they are. And so what we look at is, I talk to inventors all the time. It's like, oh, I'm going to buy an island. No, probably not. So, what is the realistic thing to expect, when you're a startup and you're doing it all by yourself? Realistic is you're probably going to have to mortgage the house to get it all done. And the reality check is that if you're willing to license it and you get a royalty check, you get extra disposable income, which means you get to take a vacation, buy a new car, put somebody through college. And so we look at, fantasy land, reality check, and if we can end up in happy land, everybody's happy.
Yeah, that's right. Now, tell us a little bit about the show coming up, though. Who you have, and what can we expect?
I've got Ken Parsons. He's got a new type of mattress, which is that healthcare industry. He's facing some different challenges than Wendy McDaniel. She is also my guest today. She's got a neonatal product, so It helps babies learn how to suck. Well, most people don't even realize it unless you've got a baby that is preterm, early term babies, that there's going to be a neonatal problem with being able to suck. Well, what do you do with that? And so Wendy, being in the industry, she figured it out. And so Pronto Launch is looking at helping her get her product into the marketplace. And for a lot of inventors who come up with a viable solution to a problem, it doesn't mean that they know how to manufacture it or market it or even what the challenges of a particular industry are. So that is what we do, is to, say, all right, if you're in this industry, these are the questions you ask yourself. And if you're in this industry, totally different set of questions.
Yeah. Now, the three guests that you have, they're in different stages of their development, or all these products are basically ready to put on market, is what I'm saying.
They're ready to go to market. All
Okay.
right. They're not in the market. There's a difference there, but both Ken and Wendy are ready to, have a licensee take over and run with it and get it into the marketplace. And Mike Ryan, my industry expert, he is with Pronto Launch. He is the CEO of Pronto Launch. And he is, our first step at saying, all right, this is where we go with this product. And then from there, he can say, all right, go here, this is what we're going to do, this is what we can do as Pronto Launch, and this is where we can send you, because this is the best place to go. And what we look at really is what is best for the product. I mean, we've got one inventor who's got a new type of diaper. And he goes, for us to go into the diaper business would be ridiculous when we can license it to a Depends or a Lowe's.
That was my next point, whether or not they're going to manufacture it or look for a licensing deal. And we've talked about this many times, and you already know my opinion on this. I think if you're a one-trick pony, two-trick pony, regardless of what you have, you should just go ahead and license it. It's just too much involved. You really have to have a tremendous amount of products, either to be financially stable because of what's entailed to try to get one product to market. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And, what is best for one product isn't best for every product.
Yeah.
And so we really look at then, who's going to be doing the reselling of the product, where the strengths are of the product and the people that we're talking to. And, like I said, if we make the decisions based on what's best for the product and getting it into the consumer's hands, then we've made the decision on what's best for the inventor. And, people want to see what is the problem, what problem did you solve and how did you solve it? That's what they want to see. And, everything else is just, second. I get people say, well, let me tell you my history. Let me tell you my story. It's like, no. First of all, I want to know what problem did you solve and how did you solve it? It's like, all right, well, Wendy, tell me a little bit about your background. Well, I'm in the medical industry. Well, hello, that makes a lot of sense. I'm much more likely to listen to her story because it's related to the product than I am, the one person who said, I'm a stay-at-home mom and I invented a new house that's going to run off the grid. It's like, do you even know what the grid is? Well, not exactly, but I've invented this house that's going to be off the grid. It's like, physics, engineering, what's your background? Well, no, I'm a stay-at-home mom. It's like, I think maybe you need some more research. And so then she called me back and she said, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. Because I found 1,000 of them out there. And it's like, there you go. So sometimes the best advice we give is, don't go there. And then, we had the lady that's got the cat product. She's got 3 cats that sit around her neck from time to time. And I have seen videos of all of them. Awesome. She knows exactly what she's doing.
Yeah, it just depends, in my opinion, what stage you are and what you want to do and what would be the best. And you have to have a professional and to advise because they've been through and they know the blueprint of this, not only the product, but the industry itself. You have to be educated in that industry. Like you said, the diaper business. Wow. Hey, you got to remember on the toy industry, it's just millions of products, You don't want to get lost in the shuffle here or just be in somebody's computer system instead of actually being on a shelf,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun to work with the inventors at different stages. When they call me, the one guy that had been listening, he says, I've been playing around with this idea in my head and it's time to get started. So, have you filed anything? What have you done? He goes, nope, I've got some basic prototypes. The prototypes are really pretty good.
Yeah.
And it's like, I am surprised that you went to this much trouble to do prototypes before you ever had a search done or a provisional patent filed. But he goes, no, you're here to tell me now what is my next step. And so, we talked through it, but really good. Oh, there was a guy that sent me, video of this really cool road working product that he's got. And I'm thinking, our road working products, that's not really in our wheelhouse. I'm telling you, when I saw the video, it's like, holy cow, let's go. So, there's times when I say, we do basically consumer products and, I prove myself wrong because it's like, okay, this one's really cool. Let's fly to Mars.
Yeah. And, what's amazing also is that each week, we've been doing this show for almost 2.5 years now. And basically on your product development, we have not had the same company twice. It's just a constant new companies coming on.
Exactly. And I think what's so fun for the listeners, for all of our listeners out there, is hearing these people that are just, regular average consumers, working in different industries and saying, I've got an idea, I can do this better. And they come up with these really cool ideas and they start getting it out there and somebody goes, I want to be an inventor. I've got an idea. And so we get to help them then work through the process and be excited and know that the American consumer is looking for these new products.
Yep. Well, we only got about less than a minute left and we got to pay some bills and hear from some of our sponsors and so on and so forth. But hey, just to let our audience know, we are streaming live on the World Wide Web at hometalkusa.com. You can also catch us on Rita's website, Invent America, right? InventAmerica.com, right?
Yep.
And MadeInAmerica.com. So there's a whole bunch of ways that you could catch the stream. And this is a live terrestrial radio show. It's not just a podcast. It's broadcast all over the country. So each week and every week on our radio affiliates. Just check out my website, hometalkusa.com. All right, we're going to take a short break. Got to pay some bills. When we come back, we're going to have our first guest, first topic, first entrepreneur, kind of give us their story on their journey. So this is Home Talk USA Network, King Broadcasting, Invent America show with the Inventor Lady herself and the Cajun contractor, Michael King. We both be right back. Y'all come back now, you hear?
This segment of Invent America TV is brought to you by SearchQuest Patent Search. SearchQuest provides for a comprehensive patent search that searches the entire world and not just the U.S. Patent Office. Make sure that before you spend those big bucks having a patent written, you've done your due diligence by getting a comprehensive patent search. Use SearchQuestPatents.com for all your patent search needs. They scour the world for you.
Welcome back. This is the Invent America show here on Invent America Radio on the King's Broadcasting Network. Don't forget, next hour, Made in America. So we sure hope you stay tuned to that show also here on the King's Broadcasting Network, part of the Home Talk USA radio family.
And my first inventor guest today is Wendy McDaniel, and she's invented this really cool product that is a life-saving product. So, Wendy, tell everybody what is the neonatal pacifier, and thank you so much for being on. I forget to start out with, gee, thanks, Wendy, for being here today.
Hi, I'm a registered nurse, and I have done only maternal baby care all of my career. Working in the NICU, I learned that premature babies do have trouble learning how to suck. When they need to take a bottle, they're delayed because they don't have the reflex to do it. They don't have the muscle strength and the coordination. So we use pacifiers to help with non-nutritive sucking, but we soon found out they can't really hold on to them that well either. They're not coordinated, so as soon as we can put the pacifier in their mouth, we turn around to walk away and they spit it out. So I just made a little device that wraps around the back of the baby's neck. It's adjustable straps that come around to the front. Most pacifiers used in the hospitals have holes in the front, so there is an attachment that goes through those holes, and it just gives a little bit of extra hold for that baby to learn for sucking and being able to learn to take their bottle a lot sooner, hoping that they get to go home from the hospital a little bit quicker than what they have been.
Well, and that's an interesting, piece of information that you added there, because what you learned working in the field, all right, is that, when the babies don't know how to suck because they are premature, they end up staying longer, and the parents' lives are disrupted longer, and it's longer for them to be able to bond with their new baby because they are in the neonatal care.
Yes, that is true.
And so your device allows them to go home sooner and faster and become the family unit.
That was my purpose for it, is to help those little ones to get better, get stronger faster, and get to go home.
Well, I think, when you're in the medical industry, there are just a lot of challenges between something that is going to be, just used on the outside of the body and something that's going to be used inside the body. And this is not exactly inside the body, but it's not outside of the body either. So what are the challenges that you've had to deal with?
When I've spoke with occupational therapists that I worked with, one of their concerns was maybe that the baby would get fatigue because they had the passy in their mouth too long, or it could be a choking hazard. But the way I've designed it, again, it's adjustable. So if they spit it out of their mouth, at least they've held it in longer than they would have just us putting it in and walking away. 5 minutes, and they can do it by graduation, starting with a few minutes and moving up to where they can take a pacifier, suck on it through their whole gavage feed. So when the time comes for them to take a bottle, they can take all of their feed through the bottle instead of 5 minutes of maybe getting a little bit and then still having to gavage feed as well.
All right, so people think of a pacifier as making a baby happy because they're crying. And, that's not exactly why you start using them. Like you said, the pacifier is what helps them learn how to suck.
Yes, they have to have something. And if they've never had anything in their mouth besides their little paws when they're in the utero, they don't really know what to do with things. So it is a challenge to get them to learn. They have trouble breastfeeding as well. So this particular product, just getting them to learn how to suck, they can breastfeed. It don't necessarily have to lead to full bottle feeds. They can start breastfeeding. They have to get that rhythm of suck, swallow, breathe, suck, swallow, breathe, and having that in their mouth while they're doing it. Because the gavage feed, they just lay there and they don't even know they're getting fed. But if they're sucking while they're getting fed, there is a connection with their brain to their stomach. Hey, I'm sucking, I'm getting something in my tummy. I need to do this. I need to suck so I can get something in my tummy.
Well, and I don't think most of us have ever connected those dots because, shoot, when we were, first round, it's not like you're connecting the dots that you carry with you through adulthood. So
Correct.
when, why does a few weeks make such a difference? Neonatal, they're 3 weeks premature, they don't know how to suck, they're full term and they do know how to suck.
True. It's just a developmental stage in utero. It's just the timing of it. So research has shown about 34 weeks, 35 weeks is when they start developing that reflex and start sucking. So if they're before that time, they've not developed it yet. It's just a part of their development and they just haven't got there yet.
Interesting. So what's next?
Well, I have the product. We went to the marketing show a couple of weeks ago in Las Vegas and we ran into Mr. Ryan, who you're going to see just shortly. And he has going to set up with us and help us get this become a reality. I'm not very, I have created it. I can't make it and I'm needing help. So he is going to help us get there.
Well, and that's wonderful because you're in the same boat that a lot of inventors are in. You've answered a problem in your industry, but those next steps, that's not where your sweet spot is. Your sweet spot is nurturing babies. It is not manufacturing something. And you are wiser because you called that sooner. So we're going to be back in just a couple of minutes after we go and pay some bills. Big shout out and thank you to King Productions for allowing us to be on the air. And for all of you listeners out there who are saying, I'm interested, I want to be an inventor. Stay tuned. We'll have some more information for you as soon as we come back.
If you're an inventor or you know an inventor out there who would just like to be able to have a conversation with other inventors, join the Inventors Roundtable. It's free. The meetings are virtual, so you can be anywhere in America and talk to another inventor. And for a lot of folks out there, understanding the process, being able to ask questions, getting good service provider information is critical to the inventing process. So, got questions? Want to join? It's free. inventorsroundtable.org.
And thank you so much for being with us for this segment of Invent America, because America invents. And this segment is brought to you by the RPB Law Offices. RPB Law Offices has been bringing corporate level legal expertise to the independent inventor community for over 20 years. For all of your inventing legal needs, you can trust rplawoffices.com. And my guest for this segment is Mike Ryan with Pronto Launch. And it was wonderful to have you join us, Mike, out at ASD Market Week. Really to be able to talk to inventors like Wendy and say, all right, this is really cool, and here's some next steps that we can go after. So, Mike, why is understanding the different industries so important for the inventor?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me. Yes, it's such a special time for inventors. Inventors, it's a good news, bad news. The good news is that there's a lot of excitement, and then unfortunately, what happens? Reality sets in. Okay, I got this great product. People envision I got this great product. All of a sudden, the phone's going to ring off the hook, and everyone and their brother's going, "Hey, how can I get involved?" And unfortunately, that's not the reality. You got issues that are tied into um, manufacturing, design, the cost that goes associated with that. And then depending on the product, how do you tap into the different industries, the different markets? One product may work in one market and another industry may not work in another. So it's a very complicated matters. That's why Pronto launches come in to help navigate through that, to make it a lot easier for them. And essentially, we're a soup to nuts company. We're A to Z, and we can help them in all aspects of their wherever they stand in their situation.
Well, we had learned a few years ago, when a gentleman had a very cool product, but it was going to fit on a ladder. And what we learned then, and what he learned and didn't know ahead of time, and he had 10,000 of these sitting in a storeroom, was that it negated then the product liability insurance on that ladder that the ladder company was responsible for. So, he had deep enough pockets. He went out and bought the product liability insurance that would cover his product and the ladder product if they had his product attached to it. But every industry has got its challenges, its requirements. And if it's something that you're going to, be putting in the body, FDA becomes a big deal. Ladder companies, it's a product liability insurance. But it can be even more than that. The pet industry, we've had a lot of pet products, but the shelf space on the pet industries is all owned by 4 companies. So if you can't get their attention, you'll never get your product in there. What else can you do? And there's other options. It's always a matter of knowing first, what are your options and what can you do, as opposed to just being shut down and shut down. So, some of those things, how does Pronto Launch help an inventor understand those challenges? Pronto Launch has got the same challenges.
Yeah. Pronto Launch, essentially, we started in our previous company, we started as a distribution network. The challenges that you run into and how we can help people is that when you're trying to get in touch with a buyer, one of the challenges is that a lot of these companies are what they call one line item company. If you're just selling one product in that specific industry, it's hard. If you don't have a track record, okay, you have a great product. How are you going to sell it? How are you going to market it? How are you going to ship it? How are you going to do the fulfillment? We're working on a major deal right now where they love the product. They want to be assured that, are you able to fill the orders? Are you able to, if there's an issue, so you're going to have the customer service, or what happens if there's so many different factors that go into it that they need to be assured that, hey, we don't want to have this product out there, that are you going to have the proper coverage? Are you going to be, God forbid, if you're sued? Medical field, unfortunately, is a very, very hard industry to get the proper insurance. It's not easy. If you want to sell a product, one of the things that we talk about is that is so critical. Most people in the insurance industry don't even know what FHA or SHA means. All right. And if you have if FHA is a flexible spending account, HSA is a health savings account. If a person has one of those accounts, then that product will allow you to get that product on that card without taking money out of your own pocket. Corporations, businesses, hospitals, many of them have these type of accounts. How does that average inventor going to know how to get in there? They don't. And then most people who have never heard of it. And then where do you go? Who do you talk to? Then one of the comments, they'll say that, hey, you want to go through Amazon or this company or that company. The very first time we tried it, it took us 6 to 7 months, and we are no further along than we were before. So I knew there had to be a way to get it. We were able to solve that. We can. We know exactly not only who to talk to. We know how to get it started. We know how to get a process. We can get without, as humbly as I can, 90% of the products, the medical products out on the market, we know exactly who to talk to. And we leverage that to our ability to be able to get people to across the finish line a lot faster.
Well, you use the magic word there, leverage, because a lot of inventors, they don't have any leverage. All right. Most of the time, the inventors are coming. It's like, all right, they've solved a problem, no doubt about it. Solved a problem with a very cool new idea. But they'll say, well, I sold 1,000 units, not last week, but last year. And it's like, all right, you need to be selling hundreds of thousands of units to make your product real in the marketplace. And you're exactly right. A lot of those big box stores, if you are a one SKU inventor, they will eat you alive. There's times that they want the product, but they could sell 50,000 units in a quarter and send you an invoice instead of a check because the barcode was in the wrong spot.
Yeah, there's a reason why 97% of products never get there. And then of the products that do get there, less than 1% of those people ever make over $1 million. Most people, unfortunately, it's a very unfortunate. There's a lot of people out there who spend their life savings. And it's sad that how many products out there, whether it's a medical field or not, especially in the medical field, how many products out there that could have, should have, would have changed and make a huge difference in the medical industry. It never went there because they didn't have the contacts, the professionals, Michael King was saying earlier, all industries. It doesn't matter if it's medical, it doesn't matter if it's in the toll industry, it doesn't matter if it's in the pet industry. Unless you have the right contacts, if you need to have the right muscle behind you to be able to get to where you need to get. People say, okay, I have $100,000 to invest in products. We have another company called the Nose Tea. All right, the Nose Tea is next year will be a multi-million-dollar product year one. Okay, the inventor, one of the sharks and one of the other entertainment shows, let's put it that way, was offered a lot of money. They offered this guy a lot of money. He saw all the things that Pronto Launch was able to bring to the table, and we were able to leverage all of our contacts. Now we're going to be into high schools. We're going to be in training. So I just earlier today, I talked to one of the largest boxing associations in the country that's tied into MMA and the National Boxing Association. Mike, we get this into tens of thousands of people. We leverage that into make it even bigger. He says sooner or later on TV, you'll see people using our products. So putting this all together, we can help those people take a product from A to Z, and at the end of the day, do things that most people are not able to do.
Well, it makes a difference when we're able to help an inventor, like Wendy, and say, all right, this is where we go. This is what's next, and here's the leverage that that we have, so that she can go back to doing what she enjoys doing and not have to lay awake at night wondering how she's going to pay for it, because the money is a big deal in the inventing realm. So we're going to be back and we're going to talk with Mike some more about, the challenges some of the inventors face, and be able to, help the inventors get from I have an idea to the marketplace. In the meantime, we want to thank King Productions again for allowing us to be on the air. But some of those other resources out there, if you know an inventor and you need to get some information to them, they need some help, the Inventors Roundtable is a place to go where they can ask some questions. It doesn't cost them anything, and all they have to do is log in. Inventors Roundtable. All of our links are on the site. So stick with us, everybody. We will be right back.
Okay, this is going to be hour 2, segment 4, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mics are open.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for being with us for this segment of Invent America, because America invents. It is brought to you by Lion Energy. You can go anywhere with a portable solar power generator. LionEnergy.com. Don't get caught out there in the dark. You need a portable power solar generator. LionEnergy.com. And my guest for this segment is Mike Ryan. He is the CEO, founder, big cheese of Pronto Launch, and he's we call him the Leverage King, because he knows about leverage, and that is what he brings to the inventors, is that ability to get from, through the patenting process, which is the inventor's responsibility, those prototypes, getting them done, getting them teed up for you, got proof of concept. but most inventors, can't make a single call and have an order of 100,000 come in by the end of the week. So the leverage part is really important. And okay, so maybe you can't walk on water, but I know a lot of inventors hope that you do. The the industries that Pronto Launch works in are quite varied, which is wonderful. And I notice it expands a little bit all the time. But what are the core industries that Pronto Launch is working in?
Pretty much anything within a medical field, anything in a sports related field. We are finalizing soon to be a major product that anyone who has ambitions of having a product that they would like to stick a professional logo on there. We are finalizing a major deal where we're going to be able to get that done for them. That's going to be groundbreaking. There's nothing like it going to be. It's going to send shockwaves in the sports industry.
Wonderful. And I know you've got, pet products, so the pet industry, kitchen gadgets, so, the homemakers, dream come true, different tools, so it makes life better in the tool industry. Probably not rocket ships yet.
Almost anything that you could think of that is that you'd see on Amazon, excluding large items. Yeah, we're not into the space rocket ship. Elon Musk doesn't have to worry about competition from Pronto Launch in that area.
Not yet. You never know.
You never know.
You never know.
You never know.
We've talked about why leverage is so important for the inventors. So, when you go out there, what are you looking for? Like when you were walking around ASD or any of the other shows that you go to, where you're looking for products, what are you looking for as you go up and down the aisle?
Well, believe it or not, it starts with the inventor. As it's well known, I've walked away from multiple multi-million-dollar deals because, quite frankly, the inventor was unrealistic. Lacked a little bit of having a positive attitude, or sometimes, quite frankly, just someone that I'm not interested in would be a good sample of with us. So that the person has to be someone that we enjoy working with. All right. So that's the first start. It has to be a good product. We look for what I would call wow products actually that change the marketplace. All right. The margins have to be there. We have to operate on has to be a 4 or 5, preferably at least, if not 6x, meaning that if the products if we feel that product could be sold for $49.99, we have to be able to at least get it for at least $12.50. If we can't, then the margins aren't there. So we have to take those. We put all that in perspective because we have distributors, wholesalers, retailers. We need to make X amount, and then our resellers, our distributors, wholesalers, they need to at least make twice their margins. If we can do that, it all comes together. It has to be a product that is good from the shipping standpoint. We try to stay away from, not that there's always those exceptions. I try to stay away from anything that's kind of high tech type products. We don't really get involved in a whole lot of clothing type products unless it's complementary merchandise of the products that we are selling. But it has to be a product that you almost like you buy it on Amazon. I mean, and the other area I'm a big believer on, if it's a pet related product, if it's focusing on for kids, if it's anything that excites women or seniors. Not to suggest that I'm against guys. We do a lot of business in the tow industry. So anyone knows me knows that we'll be doing millions of dollars over the years in the tow industry. But if someone has a product actually that is great for the medical field that can make changes, that excites us. And it moves the needle for us.
Well, I'm looking forward to introducing you to Ken, even though he wasn't able to join us today because he's got a very interesting product that certainly people like me who've got issues with, the back and everything, that is, I wish I would have had it 50 years ago. So it's, there are just products out there that you say, okay, well, it's like the road product that I sent you the link to it. It's like, I don't do road products. Okay, well, just made an exception, and you never know until you get it out there and figure, all right, this makes a difference. It makes life easier for the contractors. It makes life safer. It's going to make babies healthier. It's fascinating to be able to make a difference in the world. And I always look at if we do what's right for the product, we're doing what's right for the inventor.
Yes, there's a lot of great products out there. Pronto Launch essentially, we're looking for good products, good people. We all want to make a lot of money, but we want to have fun doing it as well. Pronto Launch is we have a product that we feel we have a great business model, but we have a great team of people that support us, that makes Pronto look good, and it's important that they not only do well in working with represent Pronto Launch, but they need to be people who can work strong with our team people, and together we can make this happen on a big level.
So everybody, thanks so much for being with us. Mike and Wendy, thank you so much for being with us today. We will be back with Made in America, Inventing 2.0. We see it, we make it right here in the good old USA. So stay with us, everybody. We'll be right back.
Thanks everyone for joining us today. We will be back next week with more stories on getting products from mind to market. We will have new inventors and industry experts. So join us and have a wonderful week.